In this video we are going to be looking over this Olympus Stylus 120 compact 35mm film camera, and in order to test it out we have a type 123 battery and a scrap roll of film. Now these are not included in the sale, but they're here for our testing purposes. So to get started, we will open up the battery compartment and drop in a type 123 battery. Close that, and we will open up the back and drop in a scrap roll of film. We put the film over here and bring the little tail over into the take-up area and make sure that looks like that's in there correctly. Close the door, and we hear the film advancing. And so now if I turn the camera on by sliding the lens cover over, the lens pops out and the flash comes up and it's set for picture number 1. So now I'm going to set the flash for off right now for our first trial, and we'll just watch here as this goes. Okay, I saw the lens move and the shutter operated. Let's verify that the zoom works properly. That's nice and smooth. Okay, now let's set this to flash. So now the little lightning bolt is showing there in picture number 2. So let's watch this. And I saw the flash go. Now let's try the here is what they call the red eye setting. It's got a little eye setting, and what the flash does there is it flickers a bit, and then it also does that during the taking of the picture just before. So let's watch this. There and there. So that was working correctly. So now I'm going to shut the flash off just so we can test out the self timer. Okay, now the little timer is showing. So what we do is simply press the stop or the shutter button. Now, let's see, where's the little, oh, I'm going to get that little red light to light up there. There it is. Okay, and we'll watch as it starts flashing, and then the cycle will complete shortly thereafter. Okay, so that works. Now I think I want to just make sure the timer's off. What I want to do is see if the metering is responding to light, and so I'm going to leave the camera right here with this bright light shining right into it. And let's check the shutter speed. It was quite fast. Now I'm going to leave the camera right there. I'm going to turn off my lights. So the camera's in a much darker environment here. I know my camera that I'm filming this with compensated for that, and it looks brighter than it really is. But now we're going to, with the camera in the same location, we'll operate the shutter again. Much longer shutter speed. So that verifies that the metering is working and compensating for the light conditions. So now what we're going to do is just use up the rest of the pictures that are on this roll just to make use of them. Oh, one other thing I should check on the back here is there's a display here for the quartz date, and on the end of the strap is a little tool with a little tip on it that's useful for pressing these little buttons. And so if we press the mode button, it brings up 0211 for January 1st, 2002. The first date that this camera was designed to work for with this quartz date feature. And if I hold the mode button down, the O2 starts flashing, and so I can go over here and hit the set button and just increment that up 1 year at a time. And so here, as we go up here, there's 2021, so we know it's good for out into the future. In fact, it goes quite a few years into the future. You can actually go all the way up to 2035, and you can set the date then, and after 2035 it reverts back to 02. And to set the month, you can hit that, and the day of the month, you can set that, and then you can set the time and the hour and the minute, and then it's all in there. So that feature is working. I'm going to just shut that off and bring it back to all dashes. So at this point now I'm just going to use up the rest of the frames in this. And we can see the lens moving to focus. Okay, there it reached the end of the roll. So now it is going to rewind, and we can watch here as it counts back. And there I heard the end break free of the take-up spool, and it just winds a little bit longer just to make sure it's all done. And then it flashes E to show that it's safe to open up the camera and take out the film. And of course, if this were good film that we had taken pictures with, we could have that processed. Now, while we have this open, let's look at this. The mating surfaces for the back gasket is all intact, in good condition. There's some serious looking optics right here. Very nice looking lens, and that looks to be in nice condition. If we move over here to the back door, there's a gasket that runs all the way around here that mates up with the surface here, and that is intact and looks good all the way around. The pressure plate is good, and the door latch works properly. And the on-off has nice clicks into the on and closed position. This camera is in quite good condition. There's a little bit of scuffing, but really very minor. Lots of these were shoved into people's pockets and they got all scuffed up, and this one really doesn't have a lot of that. Lots of these have wear through the paint. There's a little bit right here on this corner, but most of these edges look really good. A little bit of scuffing here. And the one thing that I noticed that I want to draw attention to is right in this corner here, there's a little chip of plastic missing that should have continued off here and into that space just a little bit. It doesn't affect anything. It looks like it's purely cosmetic, and it doesn't affect how the flash pops up, but I want to make you aware of that. So all in all, quite a nice example of the Olympus Stylus 120.